Good evening and welcome to another edition of PharSide Pholios.
Oh,
I am your host, Monica Leek, and we here on the far side are so excited to be celebrating in the month of December. Read a new book month. Yes, it is Read a New Book Month.
do it.
So, what other
Do it.
way to celebrate Read a New Book Month than to introduce our audience, those who are watching live and those who will catch us on the replay, to a very new author who's been around doing some things, different things, but this is his first project and we're excited, really excited about it because we had the opportunity to get first dibs a little bit maybe on this new book, and we're welcoming to the far side Daniel Eric Finkel.
Thank you, Monica. It is so cool to be here. You're awesome. I really am excited to do this. I'm very grateful. Let's do it.
All right, just a little bit about Daniel. I mean, other than he's just, he has great personality and energy that you're going to see throughout the course of this interview. But he's been writing for forever, forever, forever. If we count that fourth grade thing called The Nose That Sniffed Up Christmas,
That's
or
right.
uh,
That was
or
my mom's favorite book anything that I've ever done. I never passed that fourth grade. And honestly, it wasn't even about cocaine, which is kind of amazing. It was just innocent. But maybe it
oh,
should be about cocaine. Maybe we should
and
flip it,
then
make a lot of money.
and he's got and along with writing that amazing piece in fourth grade and years later, high school, paper, um something drama, possibly
Yeah. Well, what
things
happened
that
was
could have
we
been
wrote like
inappropriate.
yeah, we did a lot of like I would do any chance my friends and I would have to like videotape something for a class, we would do like little video movies. So we were always into it, even if we were just technical zeros. So but somehow we managed to make a few really funny little movies that like people around school would talk about, like little like there was the grocery store massacre, and then we did one where it had to do with Pythagoras for math. And we just made like this Pythagorean theorem, like crazy movie. So I was always doing stuff like, but I didn't know why I was doing it. And yeah, there was an assembly, bunch of our friends and I. It was a controversy. There was a Mister Rogers sketch.
And
Yeah, it
so
didn't
from
go down well, but we thought it was funny at the time. But I don't know if we'd even get more trouble now, but
oh
we probably would.
boy. Well, we're kind of on the teeter totters in this day and age of kind of a cancel culture. So we're not looking to be canceled, but we're
No.
so excited to have you here on the far side. You know, he's got a background in advertising, um, also as a screenwriter. So maybe there's a possibility of this project coming to screen. What do you think?
Oh, for sure. Well, with the advertising, I graduated in advertising, but I what I learned about the advertising business was that I definitely didn't want to be part of it. So I'm like, well, I learned I don't want to do this after going through this whole thing. But I wrote a great commercial about packaged salad, and they gave me a B. So I was like, no way. My commercial about packaged salad was an A. You gave me a B, I'm out. So yeah, no, I ditched that. I ditched that, and yeah, I came to LA not really knowing I just thought it'd be cool to work in the entertainment business, just because it just seemed like it was exciting, obviously to a lot of people. So I didn't know I always thought being a writer or a director was something like, being a pro basketball player. Like I was like, I'm not going to be a pro basketball. It's like there's no chance. But I got here and I got an internship with this company called Live Entertainment at the time, and they ended up becoming a company called Artisan that did the Blair Witch Project and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
I was an intern for the TV department, and I would get to read all the scripts, and they all had these big agents, and I'm like, these people really, they're not good writers, and they have agents. Like, I know, like I was like, I just know I can do at least better than this. I don't know if I'm good, but let me give it a shot, right? So yeah, so I did, and it was kind of at the time where it was still that something about Mary R-rated comedy,
Mhm.
like those things were like hot still.
Mhm.
And so I just wrote a bunch of real, not really good scripts. I was trying, but they were funny, but they were not well written. So I did well. I did for me. I did well. I optioned some stuff to MGM. I had I had a bunch of producers working on projects, but I could never kind of crack that final, to really make a lot of, a real living in it and get anything made. I tried. I mean, I wasn't even, I was just very like going into it like, I don't know what I'm doing. I wasn't like, I was like, I'll sell out because I don't even know why I'm here. You know what I mean? I'm just like doing these.
And
But
so
when
we
it came
come
down
from
to it, yeah,
so you come from screenwriting into, okay, I'm I'm doing a book.
yeah.
So
So what
yeah.
happened was the one of those screenplays where I decided to write something really weird. One of the early ones was this screenplay called Stan Taffle's Leather Pants, and it was just about a guy with leather pants that found these pants, and somehow they changed like the perception of him. It was like it wasn't magical at the time. It was just like they acted magical because there was because he changed his whole look by wearing these leather pants, and it brought him into this world that was more like an R-rated, funny, sophomoric. So I had this
Mhm.
script, and throughout the years, update it, and I had a chance to work with the big producer at the Disney lot that was like did a bunch of big stuff. So I was like, I had this idea to turn it into like a fantasy, like a Disney movie almost.
Mhm.
I was like, I saw it, like I was like, it's gonna be like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. I'll just use the characters and put them in the story, and I think I can get it to work. And I did. I got it to work, even though Mr. Toad's Wild Ride really has its own story, and it was kind of a bad idea at the time. But I did it, and it's another one of those Hollywood stories. Like I gave them the idea, and I did the work, and they were gonna have me do a rewrite of it just to see, not pay me, and then they wouldn't call me
Mhm.
back all of a sudden, and I got a call from a friend congratulating me because in the trades they're like they're making the Mr. Toad's Wild Ride movie, you know. They never made that
Wow.
movie. They never made that movie, but it was just like wow. So I had gone there with the script and made it a fantasy. So when I was deciding to write my first book, I was like, well, I mean, everyone wants a new Alice in Wonderland, Willy Wonka. Like I feel like that's always like people are always like calling it a Willy Wonka type movie or go
Mhm.
down the rabbit hole. Like that's used so much. I'm like, I'm gonna lean into that, and that's how I got the idea to turn this into a book. And the other question to go back with you is it definitely I'm going to be um, working on a pitch packet next year to try to become an animated movie. So yeah, that is definitely the end game.
So was the inspiration of the whole concept of the pants of insanity, was it inspired by any other stories of magical or interesting pants?
Well, it wasn't pants. I don't even remember how I thought it was leather pants, but it had to do with that when I was originally in that, in the early 2000s or whenever it was. I'm really bad at dates, but I had decided at the time to to dye my hair white, not just like freaky white, but at the time no one was doing like it was very much like now it's like okay, it's like kind of commonplace. But back then you were kind of like all of a sudden I was kind of a preppy little nerdy, and I did that, and all of a sudden everyone looked at me different. Like I was just this different dude. Like it was crazy. So I was like, it's just amazing how you just alter your appearance this much and everyone acts different so around you. So that was always and I love that idea. It just when
Mhm.
I made it more the Alice in Wonderland thing, it just all kind of like it had to be, all these spaghetti strings started to come together, and it had to be cursed pants to kind of make the story work. And I changed it.
I sort of connected originally when when I saw the title, I I wondered, it's like, okay, I wonder if he got the idea or about that or connected it to the sisterhood of the traveling pants. So,
I
which was a
didn't
whole,
actually.
it was a whole like young adult drama, almost coming to
Yeah.
age drama where the girls were, everybody, no matter their size or shape, could fit this particular pair of pants. So that made me think about those like the girls in the traveling pants when I initially saw the title of
Yeah.
of,
Sure.
of the pants of insanity, pants of insanity. So
There's also, I think there's a Friends episode where I think one of them gets leather pants that I saw later, but I'm like, wow, okay, so that was kind of an idea that was kind of used for something successful. But no, I don't know. I don't know why I picked leather pants. I think leather pants are just something funny about wearing leather pants out. And then since we've done this, I've gotten my first pair of leather pants because I I do a performance to promote this book where I rap and sing about the book, and we do it like it's a whole thing. But so I
and
wear the pants of insanity.
and
Yeah,
then something unique, I mean, about this particular project is that you don't just have the book available, but you also have music. I mean, I went to, Click Link and saw kind of the format, and, about the author, and then there, you know, some there's music,
yeah.
I'm
Did you memorize a couple of the raps, Monica? You got them down?
I was like, I'm not that confident in my rapping ability.
Yeah, I'm not really either,
I
but
don't
I
know if
just
I could pull it off. Maybe my niece or my nephew could, but I don't think Aunt Monica's that cool yet. But
yeah, part of my LA adventure, I just happened to stumble in to be in a rock band around the same time as I was writing these pants called the Serotonins, where my one of my buddies was the singer, and he's just like, "You're going to be my sidekick," and I was kind of like, if you know Flavor Flav, I don't know if you do, but I was sort of like a psychedelic Flavor Flav. I would sing and do little raps, and just sometimes, I wasn't the main guy, but like I be I kind of the whole thing became real popular. This was before right before YouTube and Facebook blew up.
mm,
So we didn't have like that, or YouTube. Yeah, I said YouTube. But it really, like, it was like getting to learn. I got addicted to that as well because I love music, and of course I'm creative. So after that, I formed with a bunch of friends another band called the Warlords of Rock and Roll, Thunder and Lightning. Of course, right? You can see
of
the Warlords, like,
course,
yeah.
you
So I did
gotta
that for a
have
long time,
thunder
and
and
it was
lightning.
always yeah, it was always comedy involved. It wasn't like a joke, but there was always like satirical sing-alongs as well as like psychedelic freakouts and raps and stuff like that. So I've been doing this kind of stuff for like years. So when I was writing the second draft of the book, I went to my friend Jerry Curl, who is a great musician and a great friend, and he lived in Portland. So I took 6 months off and went to Portland and just lived in his guest room, really cheap. Put all my stuff in storage in LA here, and just wrote, and basically, and I told him that maybe I should write a rap about the book, and he got into it, and he really pushed me, and he has a rehearsal room. So I wrote these raps, and then he worked on them with me. He worked on the beats because he can play drums. He's a
Mhm.
drummer and a guitar player. And then another one of our friends who happens to be an amazing musician, producer named Marcus Junkin. He basically took those and made them these songs. So I had it just happened. It's like a lot of the stuff in this project's been real magical, like the pants. They've just happened. Like I've kind of like, I haven't been like a plan. This is our plan and plan. I've just been kind of going with what's being presented towards me, and it's made this incredible like thing that is just like almost out of my hands at this point. It's been a really magical, wild experience, Monica. I tell you, like, it's really been great.
Well, the story itself opens up. This is a kind of interesting start to a story. That was the 365th best sunrise of the year. joked stereotypical farmer Ted 1 to the stereotypical farmer Ted 2 as they watched a magnificent fake sunblast its fluorescent light across a field of cows, each of which had two basketball-sized udders. So is this setting
I
fake?
rewrote that sentence like 900 times, by the way, just to let you know. Like, but go ahead. Sorry.
Like, is it like, because is this, because I was just like, okay, is it a stage performance with the characters with like a Ted 1 and a Ted 2? Because like your sound, because it start with the Ted 1, Ted 2 start off. I was like, okay, it's okay. They're at a rehearsal. They're doing a play. So there's a stage, performance or something going on, or
Right, right.
is this, so is there something, you know, further to be revealed, I guess you can say, about these, because this is kind of different, sounds like a different type of farming if you're using, fluorescent light, and then you got cows that have like basketballs. I know, cows are, I've seen cows, but basketballs size udders probably are not the norm.
No, so there's a couple things. I guess what originally I wanted to start at the book, and if you've read the book, you'll know like there's a middle part where I kind of go back to the history of these pants. Well, that was I
Okay.
started. I was there's the book Hawaii
Mm-hmm.
by who wrote that? James Michener, famous James Michener, Shogun, and he wrote this one called Hawaii, where the whole beginning was like the told of the formation of the islands and like this detailed history of how the islands formed like under the ground until like till you get to where the modern day story is. And I thought, well, why don't I just write the most ridiculous story about how these pants were formed? That was like my thing. And so I just wrote the most crazy long story about how these pants were formed. And that was the original draft. Was it started there, and that was actually the end of it, where the farmers, because you meet the farmers, you find out all that
Mm.
stuff. But it was people were just like getting cross-eyed like to start off with. They were like, they don't have any reference point. They're like, what is happening? I'm just getting pummeled with like comedy, and there was a lot of bad jokes too that I plucked out. So it does set up everything in there
Yeah.
is legit and sets up the story. As ridiculous as it is, I made sure that everything had it wasn't just like random. There was a backup of why these things were happening, as even if the explanations were more ridiculous than the actual things that were happening, I felt like that was important, not to like, so I was detail oriented about everything.
And readers will pick up on that. Again, if you're just joining in with us this evening, I'm here with Daniel Eric Finkel, who's the author of Mr. Taffle's Pants of Insanity. And we're and we're talking about this whimsical, funny adventure fantasy where all kinds of things intersect. And I wanted something that I guess struck me, that like in the process as you're setting up this story, you've got cows that are able to communicate almost telepathically, so to speak, and to send a message to the farmers and to those who would ever hear or get it. One of the quotes was that you may kill our bodies, but our quest to get as weird as possible will continue forever.
And
So
that's the whole thing. That's the curse of the pants. So like these pants are a magnet. They act like a magnet. Then they go to the weirdest. They attract the weirdest people, the freaks of the freaks, and they go to the weirdest places. That's where they want to go because they have this curse by this magical cow that's been
so
messed up by
Mr.
a chemical.
Yeah, so Mr. Taffle, whose name is in the title of this story, seems to be kind of one of these unsuspecting, kind of dorky, like characters with, the toilet paper stuck to his pants, or are struggling to, make sales, and, be seen and heard. Um, what's, this connection? I mean, to the pants, he, sees these pants, comes encounters these pants, and he can't stop. He wants, it's like he wants to get them, and then he doesn't want to get them, and then maybe it's too much. He's going through all of this in his head before he's got to leave, because he's never late for anything. So he's going, he got to be at work ahead of time, that kind of thing, type character. Um, what, how will this, these pants, or this connection, bring him out of his shell, or just, will they eventually, you know cause him to, you know crack up or clam up, or, you know or from one extreme to the other, where he's, will it really break him out of his shell, or cause him to go further deep into the shell with
Yeah,
these.
yeah, seriously. Seriously. Yeah, well what happens is the pants for some reason, the owner of the store, Leonardo Pierre Vessois, La Rat, as they called him, for some
What a
reason,
name.
when certain people put on these leather pants, these certain uh like the rack of leather pants, they put one of these pants on, they glow. And he knows that whoever glows when they wear their pants end up dying. They end up getting killed. So, but why they glow is because it's all big analogies. Of course, we're metaphors and
Mhm.
stuff. Because he is not. He lives in a world where his life is all just. He's just about work, 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 work. Right. And then the
Mhm.
other side, when he meets when we meet his ex-girlfriend that pulverized his heart, she's actually been in this world, this this crazy world that was built by a radically experimental artist using alien
Mhm.
technology. That's where they go. It's called very, 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 very funky town. There's a reason for five varies. There's a reason. Um, so
Okay.
and she's actually in the other side. She's like on the other side where she just lets everything go, and she's wild. So it's kind of about like having a balance and finding your balance. Um,
Mhm.
when it all comes down, if we're looking for like big like metaphors or analogies or anything like that. But
So,
yeah, so at the end, well, I don't want to ruin it for all the readers here, but we'll find out if he actually stops glowing or not. Maybe that has something to do with if he can win the mighty warlord and bang the big gong for his sales cult.
what do you hope, people will, after, when they dive into the story with, all of this, great humor, is, detail, you're pulled in, just by the language, and, you're making these connections, and then, now you've got a little bit of music to connect to the story, so that you can get your little bop on, between chapters. you know so,
Yeah.
um, what is something you hope readers will, take away, you know, like a Aesop's fable type lesson?
Yeah, well, mostly it's not really a lesson. I'm not really looking to say a lesson,
Mhm,
but what inspires me and what really gets me like why I do all this stuff I've done is because I love when someone, they say you can't have a creative a new idea, but I try. Like I wanted someone to pick this book up or listen to the audiobook, which I've done as well, which I
mhm,
is really great. The narrator is amazing. Just throw that out there. But I want them to be like, whoa, this is like nothing I've ever read, and but yet I can follow it. I don't want it to be so crazy where like they can't follow a story. So there is a definite story with beats that are kind of like very well structured out. But in the same on the other hand, I want them to be like, wow, this is like you know, like whenever I've seen a great film that I'm like, how did they think of this? They're like, this is wild. They're not trying to like conform or like copy something, you know. And that's what I want. I want people to be inspired and jealous, like I get. When I see something, I'm like, I'm jealous. I didn't come up with this. Damn it, you know. Oh, they're all. How
And
did they
thinking
think
of,
of that? That's what I want. I want people to be like that because I want them to like. It's just like it's very. I was when I was writing this. It was during COVID, and I was
Mhm.
definitely like I was. It was set. I'm gonna set the scene. I was subletting a little apartment in the Hollywood Hills, and when I say little, I'm talking like dorm room size. It just was under like some rich guy's like garage that he rented out. So it was like this $1 million view, like with a little hot plate, you know. And I was by myself, like I'm single, and I was like middle of the pandemic, you know, or the thick of it. So I was just like, I wrote this book sitting on there. Like I would wake up every day, make a big cup of coffee, eat breakfast, write like 3/4 of the day, do some sort of workout, you know, watch TV or maybe like see a friend if you know one or something like that, and then I would dream about the book. You know, I'd be like in bed thinking about the book, thinking of lines about the book, and I would wake up and I would do it again. So I was just like really locked in. Um, and that I don't know, remember the original question, but I felt like that was
Mhm.
important to tell you. I forgot. I forgot. I'm sorry. I forgot
Hey,
what the question was.
look, it works. It works. It really
Yeah, yeah.
works because
Yeah, but I
this
was just really
story.
honed. It was, yeah. I think that was. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't remember the original question. But
Because the story, I mean, you talk about how long it took you to kind of get to, published work because you already had like the idea, then you started developing the story. And so the whole thing, was years in the making,
yeah, it's
so
been years and
that,
years of this. Yeah, many drafts of
yeah,
screenplays, lots of like different ways to think about it and to do it, and then you know to have it come full circle like this has just been wild. I mean, and again, it feels like it's we made a trailer for the audio book that we just released, and on TikTok right now, like last week I released it. It's got like 20,000 views and like 1,000 likes. Like for I'm not a you know I don't get like stuff that's viral. So for me, it's like something's working. You know, it's really cool how it's just like all like it's like the universe is rewarding me for all these years of like you know just
it's
really
like
sticking to
payback,
something.
right?
Yeah, that's why like if you believe in a project, it's like it might not be working at that time, but it doesn't mean like you can't come back to something that you thought was great and like be like, okay, I now see what was holding this back. You know, like let's try to figure that out because this is still great. You know, and I have a lot of projects like that to be honest with you. So I'm it's super excited that I could be rewarded for work that I've spent years on. You know, and you know now I can write the book version, and I love writing the book. The book writing a book was probably the best thing that I've ever done. My dad just said I'm funny. I saw that. Hi, Bernie.
Well, thanks for the shout out. We know that he's a whole riot. He's a whole riot, and we're excited about this book. I think it's great. It's a whimsical story. It's got some of everything, in it. It's got a little magic. It's got a little, kind of sci-fi kind of thing going on. So there's a whole lot. You kind of cross like multiple genres.
I
So
know.
is there,
Great for marketing. They're
which is great from that, way to be able to
like, where do
be
we
able
put
to
this?
push
Hmm.
it, you know? So
But it
is
was
there
great that it
any,
was a humor. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Please.
yeah. And so are there any other, you know, would you write in this vein again, seeing that, okay, this looks like it might be my niche kind of thing? Or are there like other, like, what, I think I want to write a rom-com, or you know or take a, or do a true crime, or,
Yeah.
totally nonfiction type deal. So, do you think you found your niche, or are there just other areas you might
I
want to
don't.
explore?
They're all going to be. I will say that they all are going to be a little different. Nothing. I don't like to repeat stuff, but I did do very well with this book as far as like awards. I was first place for the SEBA's Mark Twain award. I forget, comedy humor writing award, and then like six other humor. I was either a winner or a finalist. So I did find that humor. I had. It's really hard to win these contests. I know that. Like I've been screenwriting for 20 years, and I was like a
Mhm.
semifinalist once. Like so I understand that, so I'm not going to run away from that. I'm definitely, my next book it's a little more adult than this one, as far as like the only rules I had for this book was I wasn't going to cuss. I wasn't going to like, so I could have, I go, that's my go-to, like to be a little bit more,
Mhm.
like I wouldn't say vulgar, but you know what I mean? It's like, I don't like to hold back, but that was my only rule for Mr. Taffle's Pants of Insanity, was just like, keep it so my nieces and my nephews could read it. Of course, they haven't read it, and they're not going to read it. But it was good that I had that in mind. Um, and so for my next one, it's definitely I've started.
Okay.
And I had started my next one like a while ago, but I decided that one was a little bit too far away from Mr. Taffle's, and I had another
Okay.
one that was a little closer, and then I kind of started getting more inspired to write that one because I was hearing the voice, my same voice that I was writing this. It's kind of like, I want to make sure I take the audience, with me. I don't want to take like 5 steps. I want to take one step, and then I can start writing a little more serious down the line, because I do have stuff that's a little bit more, has a little more drama in it and stuff. Mixes a little bit more serious things, serious issues and stuff.
Well, we're definitely excited about having read the book and getting to the end of the book. That's where we are. We're kind of like we're towards towards the end, and not wanting to spoil it for our readers, because it is Read a New Book Month. All right. For all of our avid readers, all of our book club
Read, read,
readers
read.
from
Reading's
north, south,
fun.
east, and west, all
I have a
across
song
the
called "Buy My
nation.
Book." Reading's fun. Buy my book. Reading's fun. That's my closer for the big. I got to do the performance at a bookstore called The Last Bookstore in downtown Los Angeles. That is like the coolest, most psychedelic old school bookstore, and that's my closer. Buy my book.
Oh, wow.
Reading's
That's
fun.
amazing.
Yeah.
That is
So you can
amazing.
also listen to if you want to listen to these songs, they're on Spotify and other streaming services.
All right. So
People can do
you've
that.
got, okay. So since you're on that roll, tell us how, folks can find you and get your book
Sure.
and
Yeah.
all of those wonderful things.
The book's available on Amazon, so you can buy it off Amazon. If you're in Los Angeles, it's at the Last Bookstore and at the Pop Hop in Highland Park, which is my neighborhood, which is a really awesome neighborhood. So I'm really lucky to have it at those 2 bookstores. But if anywhere else, just please, you can buy it online. Again, read a book, but also the audiobook. We spent a lot of time on it, and it really came out. I think the actor Tommy Toretta, just he's so funny. He does like 30, 40 different voices in this thing. So it's like listening to like a psychedelic cartoon, just like tickling your brain. I swear to God, it is so fun listening to it. So, but either way, I would love it and appreciate it. You can, and it's not on Audible yet. Hopefully I'm working that out,
Mhm.
but you can get it on Spotify and almost every other platform for the audiobook as well.
All right.
And if you want to follow me on TikTok, I've just started to do stuff on TikTok. I've got a lot of animation stuff. Like I said, we have the sizzle reel, which is incredible. My friend Jeremiah Alexis and Bradley Dumovic did it. He did the sound. Bradley Jeremiah did the animation visuals, and it turned out wild. I was like, I really had less to do with it than those guys, and they're friends of mine, and they really came through for me, and it's really wild and all that
All
good
right.
stuff. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, under my name.
All right, awesome. So I'd like to thank my guest here on the PharSide Folios, Daniel Eric Finkel, for spending time with us this evening, and we wish you continued
Monica,
success with
it was a
Mr.
thrill.
Taffle's Hands of Insanity.
T,
And all
you're great. I'm so happy to meet you. So I'm so grateful that you had me on. I really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you, Michael Evan, as well, for hooking this up. Yeah.
And we want all of our viewers to make sure that you're staying tuned to the PharSide Pholios, PharSide Co-ed Book Club Facebook page for more author interviews, amazing author interviews, and great books, especially as we celebrate Read a New Book Month during the month of December. And we're just continuing to be fired up with some great books. Thank you, Daniel, for spending this time with us. So until next time, many roots, many voices are a part of the infinite story. So plant your seed. Have a
Yeah.
great and wonderful evening.
Yeah. Awesome. Bye bye. Is that it, Monica? Are we done?
Let's see. Where? Hold on. Let's see.
We're still going. All right.
Yeah,
I'll
we're
just
still
rap till we
going.
go. About the author. Daniel Eric Finkel, not Ray goddamn Finkel, laces out. Ain't this jingle? Not trying to make a single. This is